At this moment, the whole city is celebrating, because they are still alive after the battle with the four beasts. So, the people have organized a celebration, to thank the four heavenly kings for saving them, while Toriko's group is still celebrating, because they have defeated the four beasts. At this moment, Komatsu doesn't see Teppei anywhere, making Zebra angry, because last time Teppei put Zebra in jail, but Toriko says he'll be fine. It turns out that after the battle with the four beasts, Teppei chased after a man in a black cloak, but he immediately realized he was very scary. When Teppei woke up, he found himself in the hospital. The nurse said he had been unconscious for 3 days, but Teppei doesn't remember what happened to him. He only remembers, when Teppei was about to attack the man in the black cloak, he felt like he was on a cutting board, to be processed by him. At this moment, Teppei doesn't know who he is, making Teppei worried, because he is plotting to harm everyone. On Toriko's side, they are very confident in their strength, because they have defeated the four beasts, and they have used the ultimate technique Dinner of Kings. But Zebra believes that, he can also use that technique alone, while Setsuno is still amazed, because Komatsu can find the simplest way to detoxify. So, they realize Komatsu is a genius. When Setsuno was about to recommend Komatsu to the Gourmet 7, Yuta said it's unnecessary, because he is already in the IGO's top 100 chef ranking. At this moment, Toriko tells everyone, he has collected enough training ingredients from Ichiryu, ozone herb, milk stardust, mellow cola, shining gourami, meteor garlic, bubble fruit, and finally the four beasts. So, it's time for him to enter the gourmet world, because Toriko realizes he has become much stronger. Not only Toriko, but also Coco, Sunny, Zebra, all have the qualifications to enter the gourmet world. Everyone realizes they have achieved this, thanks to Komatsu's efforts. On Ichiryu's side, he is in Slow Rain Hills in the gourmet world. He realizes that Toriko's group defeating the four beasts was not easy, but he is still relieved to entrust the human world to Toriko's group, so that he can prepare to face the real enemy. Milk gave Ichiryu a giant sword. The next morning, Toriko found a very large iron ore. Thus, he decided to test his strength. Unexpectedly, a monster appeared. Toriko realizes it's the steel horseshoe crab. Especially its meat is very delicious. So, Toriko decides to eat it. He then uses the 18-hit nail punch, and immediately punches this monster into the iron ore. But Toriko is still not satisfied with this strength. So, Toriko grilled the steel horseshoe crab to eat. At this moment, he looked at Terry, and remembered that Rin had once measured Terry's level, but she couldn't measure Terry's level, because the limit of this level measuring device is 999, meaning Terry's level is over 1000. At this moment, Toriko realizes that level measuring device has measured Terry's latent strength. Suddenly, Toriko received a notification from Igo. They want the four heavenly kings to gather ingredients for the cooking festival. It turns out this cooking festival is held every 4 years, and there will be billions of people attending this festival, because due to the appearance of the four beasts destroying Biotope 8, they couldn't find enough ingredients for the festival, and the ingredients they want Toriko to find are from the gourmet world, because when the four beasts entered the human world, they brought seeds with them. So, now those seeds have grown. On Komatsu's restaurant side, it's very bustling, because Komatsu is becoming more and more famous. Suddenly, Toriko came to find Komatsu. So, the restaurant manager stopped Toriko, not allowing him to take Komatsu away. Suddenly, 2 members of the Gourmet 7 came to the restaurant, which surprised everyone. It turns out they came here to inform Komatsu. He has officially entered the IGO's top 100 chef ranking, and ranked 88th. So, he had enough qualifications to participate in the cooking festival. On Mansam's side, he received the news. The members of the four heavenly kings agreed to find ingredients, but only Zebra refused them. So, Rin asked Mansam to allow her to go with Toriko. But, Toriko and Komatsu had already set off. At this point, they had arrived at a very dangerous forest, making Komatsu worried. Toriko told Komatsu, last time the four beasts invaded the human world, they brought seeds from the gourmet world, and now it has grown. Suddenly, Toriko saw Komatsu worrying. Turns out he's afraid of losing in the cooking festival, because his opponents are all top chefs, like Setsuno and Yuta. But, Toriko told Komatsu to calm down. Turns out he also had a date with Starjon before, that they would meet in the cooking festival. He's not sure if he can defeat Starjon. Suddenly, Toriko was attacked. Luckily he managed to avoid it. Unexpectedly, the attacker was Ai, making them very happy to meet Ai and Takimaru again. Ai told them, he is also looking for the seeds of the four beasts. Suddenly, they heard a roar in the forest.
So, they decided to go find that monster together. But, Toriko and I kept arguing. Komatsu didn't know what kind of monster it was. Thus, I told him, it's a type of seed from rough cocklebur. This type of seed has many sharp thorns, and they cling to the fur of animals. To find a place to sprout, Takimaru told Komatsu. Although the gourmet knights always cherish and appreciate nature, but if dangerous creatures appear, they will intervene to stop it. On Sunny's side, he had arrived at Death Falls to get more soil. Last time he had to join forces with Toriko to cross the waterfall, but this time, he was confident he could do it alone. Suddenly, Sunny sensed someone behind him. Turns out he was a famous chef named Wabutora, known as the oil user. He said he also came here to find more soil. So, Sunny suggested they both share ways to find more soil. On Koka's side, he had arrived at Gourmet Casino. Now, he met Match, and asked Match to help him find some ingredients for the cooking festival. But, Gourmet Casino doesn't cooperate with Igo. So, the only way for Coco to get ingredients here is to gamble. On Toriko's side, he had arrived at the location of the monster, but he didn't see it here. Suddenly, Toriko discovered it underground. So, it appeared, making Komatsu frightened, because this is a monster from the gourmet world. When the monster plant attacked, Toriko immediately used the fork shield to block it, but it turned into a drill and pierced through his fork shield. Unexpectedly, it attacked Komatsu. Luckily, Toriko managed to save him in time. Toriko continued to use the flying fork and managed to cut off one of its heads, but very quickly, it grew other heads. I realized its speed was very fast, so Toriko used the leg knife to cut its roots, but it still continued to grow from underground. I realized they needed to find its exact location. Thus, Toriko told everyone to move aside, to let him fight the monster alone. Toriko used the 50-hit nail punch, striking a powerful blow to the ground, causing the ground to crack. I realized Toriko had become much stronger after the battle with the four beasts. So, he forced the monster to reveal itself. On Sunny's side, seeing Wabutora could walk on water, made him surprised. He explained, his body is covered in oil, so, it can help him float on the water. But, Sunny still doubted Wabutora, because he didn't believe he could pass Death Falls. Thus, Wabutora decided to prove his strength to Sunny. At this moment, Match told Coco, he is investigating about King Jidar and his own chef, Joie. So, Coco suspects they may have some conspiracy, and they need to find out who revived the four beasts. On Zebra's side, he had arrived at Gourmet Pyramid to find Mellow Cola, while Toriko had seen the true form of the monster. They realized this monster was an indeterminate level monster plant. It shot sharp spikes at Toriko. Even Toriko's fork couldn't block them, but it made Toriko excited. So, the monster plant continued to attack Toriko. Unexpectedly, it caught him. Toriko immediately used the leg knife, but it dodged. Suddenly, Toriko's leg knife turned back and turned into a boomerang attacking it. Toriko thought he had won, but the monster plant was still alive. Toriko realized outside it was just a thorny shell to protect the core inside. So, Toriko immediately used the 50-hit nail punch on the monster plant, but it immediately countered. I realized its recovery speed was very fast. On Sunny's side, he didn't believe Wabutora could pass the waterfall. Thus, he drank a bottle of super spicy chili oil, helping his body produce a lot of oil. Unexpectedly, he could directly advance into the waterfall, making Sunny surprised. On Coco's side, he was gambling with Match. But, Coco told Match, his purpose is to investigate the real mastermind, while the man in the black cloak is heading to Gourmet Pyramid. Zebra has found the salamander Sphinx, making the Sphinx frightened, but he didn't come here to get Mellow Cola. He came to bid farewell to the Sphinx and said, "You're not allowed to die." On Toriko's side, he's being overwhelmed by the monster plant, making Komatsu worried. But, I realizes Toriko is very calm. So, Toriko begins to counterattack it. Komatsu recalls their journey with Toriko. Toriko tells Komatsu, our journey is just beginning, and he believes Komatsu will definitely win in the cooking festival, making Komatsu very happy. At this moment, Toriko decides to use all his strength, and he manages to block the monster plant's attack. Toriko realizes he needs a really strong blow to immediately defeat this monster. So, he uses his new ultimate technique, and Toriko unleashes the 50-hit nail gun. He immediately defeats the monster, surprising everyone, because Toriko's speed in this attack was very fast. On Sunny's side, he thought he could pass the waterfall. Unexpectedly, Wabutora gets hit by a falling rock,
so he couldn't pass the waterfall. But Sunny just needs to use one move, and he could split the waterfall in two, making Wabutora surprised, and Sunny promises to share Morse oil with him. On Koka's side, he decides to place a big bet with Match. He bets that Komatsu will surely win in the cooking festival. When Match knows Koko wants to help Komatsu, he immediately agrees to give all the ingredients to him, because Komatsu has helped him many times. On Zebra's side, he has sealed off the Gourmet pyramid, so no one can enter this place. Turns out he wants to keep the mellow cola for Komatsu. On Komatsu's side, he has cooked the monster plant for Toriko to eat, making him very happy. By evening, I realizes Toriko has become much stronger. Turns out he's preparing to face Starjon at the cooking festival. The man in the black cloak has arrived at Gourmet pyramid. Unexpectedly, he easily bypasses Zebra's seal. Turns out his purpose is to take a book, but the book has disappeared. The next day, Toriko brings the shell of the monster plant to Igo. Suddenly, a chef appears. Komatsu realizes he is Zaus, ranked first in the top 100 chef ranking, and known as the king of cooking, making Komatsu very happy to meet him. Unexpectedly, just by looking at this thorny shell, Zaus has guessed it's the monster plant from the Gourmet world, and he showed Komatsu how to cook it. When he leaves, Toriko says, Komatsu will definitely defeat him. Unexpectedly, the shell touched by Zaus immediately turned into powder. Komatsu realizes he's very formidable. He doesn't know how to defeat him, but Toriko still believes Komatsu will win. On Starjon's side, he's also prepared for action. At this time, all the chefs from around the world are starting to head to the cooking festival. While Toriko is very excited, Komatsu is very worried, because he's about to compete with chefs in the rankings. Toriko tells him not to worry, because his rank is 88. So, Komatsu regains his confidence. Now, they have arrived at Cooking Island, which they both find fascinating. Inside the island, 1 billion people have gathered to prepare for the largest cooking festival in the world held every 4 years. As soon as Toriko arrives, he plans to run off to eat, but Toriko is surrounded by everyone, because he's very famous. When Sunny appears, he also gets surrounded, so he uses his power to make them stand still. At this moment, Koko arrives. He's very popular with female fans, because he's so handsome, but when they find out Koko's body is poisonous, no one dares to approach him, except Zebra, who no one dares to approach either. But everyone is very grateful to them, because the 4 heavenly kings saved the world. Suddenly, everyone sees Komatsu, and they're very happy, surrounding him, because Komatsu prepared the antidote from the 4 beasts to save them. Unexpectedly, Livebearer also arrives, which makes Komatsu very happy, but Komatsu realizes that this time he'll be his opponent, which worries him. However, he won't give up. Seeing Komatsu's determination, Setsuno is very pleased. Suddenly, a member of the Gourmet 7 appears. He recognizes Komatsu's talent, which will threaten the top chefs. At this moment, outside the arena, many people have gathered. Even Milk II and the Gourmet Knights are here. Inside the arena, there are over 100 million people. 3 billion people are watching live television, and the total budget for this cooking festival is nearly $40 million. The winner of this competition will receive the title of Super Cook. So far, only 5 people have achieved this title. Now, the cooking festival has officially begun. All the chefs in the top 100 chef ranking step into the arena. The first to come out is the king of cooking, rank 1 Zaus. The next to appear are respectively rank 4, rank 5, and rank 6. Next is the underground world chef, Livebearer, rank 17. Then Setsuno, rank 2, enters the arena. But the one everyone is most looking forward to is Komatsu, rank 88, because he successfully prepared the dish of the century and saved everyone. But on the other side, the sinister chefs of the Bishokukai are preparing to attack the competition. At this moment, the taste masters in the Gourmet 7 will be the judges of the competition. But all the 4 heavenly kings realize Komatsu is very anxious, because around him are all world-class chefs. So Toriko cheers, "Come on, Komatsu," helping him regain his composure. Suddenly, Wabutora arrives to talk to Komatsu. When they shake hands, Komatsu notices his hands are covered in cooking oil. It turns out he wants to thank Komatsu for finding the Morse oil. All the other chefs also start to gather around him. Even Zaus and Setsuno pay attention to Komatsu. When they find out the first round is a test of physical strength, Komatsu is shocked. Koko explains that the chefs have to transport ingredients from the sea to the mountaintop. While Komatsu is worried, Toriko is casually eating and drinking. So, the competition begins. In a nearby building, a chef is sound asleep. Meanwhile, Komatsu is struggling to swim across the sea. But, the other chefs easily swim across the sea. When he's exhausted, Komatsu realizes Zebra is using the voice life jacket to help him. Suddenly, Setsuno arrives to talk to Komatsu. He realizes she has the skill to stand on water. Setsuno says, "Let's compete fairly," helping Komatsu realize he has to rely on himself. So, he tells Zebra to take off the voice life jacket, because he wants to use his own strength. Thus, Komatsu continues to move forward, while Setsuno has surpassed Wabutora. Others are still chasing from behind, but Komatsu remains still. Setsuno is the first to arrive. She immediately selects her ingredients. Others arrive one by one. Meanwhile, this oversleeping young man is just setting off now. The MC recognizes him as Tengu, the third-ranked chef in the world. While everyone is cheering for him, Tengu curses, "You all shut up." Making everyone shut up, Zebra, angry, shows his strength. "Do you dare to mess with me?" He realized he was one of the 4 heavenly kings. So, Tengu jumps onto their table. "So, you're Zebra." Zebra says, "I don't play with you, because in this competition, you'll be defeated by Komatsu." Making Tengu angry, he immediately runs off to find and challenge Komatsu. Finally, Komatsu swims to the beach to choose ingredients. Unexpectedly, Tengu immediately appears, surprising Komatsu, and he realizes that he is the third-ranked chef. When Tengu learns that this short guy is Komatsu, he shocks the young man, because Komatsu seems too ordinary. Both of them arrived late, so, all the good ingredients had been chosen. But, Komatsu remains unconcerned. Tengu realizes that Komatsu has the ability to hear the voice of ingredients. Now, he understands why Toriko chose Komatsu. So, Tengu decides to help Komatsu carry all the ingredients, and they continue running back to the arena. While other chefs easily overcome the monsters along the way, some even defeat these monsters. Komatsu is struggling to ride his bicycle. Suddenly, other chefs sense a monster behind them. It turns out Tengu is dragging Komatsu at a very fast speed. Suddenly, as they pass over a bridge, Tengu pretends to slip and breaks the bridge, causing many chefs to fall into the gorge, while top chefs like Setsuno, Zaus, and Yuta are heading for the finish line. Unexpectedly, Tengu and Komatsu appear, snatching the top position from them, surprising the entire arena. Now, it's time for the cooking competition. Since Komatsu arrived first, he gets to compete first. Zebra hears that his heartbeat is chaotic. Everyone expects him to use Milk the Second's knife for the competition. But, Komatsu only uses a regular knife, leaving everyone puzzled about Komatsu's intentions. It turns out Komatsu never wanted to use Milk's knife, because he wants to win with his own strength. "You're foolish to think you can win the competition like that." But, Komatsu is determined. So, Tengu leaves, and finding him quite interesting. When he saw the judges, he became anxious again. But, when he heard the voice of ingredients, Komatsu regained his composure, and began to showcase his skills with just a regular knife. The judges saw this was just a regular hard crab dish. But, when opened inside, it revealed fried rice. Everyone realized from the preparation to Komatsu's technique. Everything was perfect. When the taste masters tasted it, they were surprised, because he only used ordinary ingredients to make this dish. But, it was delicious, making Komatsu very happy. Then one by one, other chefs showcased their cooking skills. Finally, the results were announced. Komatsu thought he would be eliminated in the first round. Unexpectedly, he made it to round 2. In the second round, Komatsu had to compete on a giant scale. Below them was fire. His opponent this time was Wabutora. As soon as the match began, he mixed all the oils together and started grilling the meat. Due to his speed being too fast, Komatsu's side of the scale dropped. Realizing he was about to be cooked, so, Komatsu started cooking too, cutting ingredients and starting to mix the meat. But, Komatsu's pan was still dropping. Suddenly, he started grilling the meat too, making everyone surprised. Thinking Komatsu was making a hamburger, Wabutora realized he was taking advantage of the fire below, to grill large chunks of meat. Thanks to his journey with Toriko in the desert, Komatsu wasn't afraid of the heat. He could run down and turn the giant meat chunks. Then adding cheese, the meat was ready. At this point, the audience would judge both dishes. Unexpectedly, many people chose Komatsu's hamburger dish. So, he won. Komatsu said thanks to journeying with Toriko, he gained experience in using oil to defeat him. Finally, Wabutora accepted defeat and shook hands with Komatsu. After the other chefs competed, the next round of the competition arrived. The rule for this round is to cook an entire island. They have to hunt the monsters on the island for ingredients, and each chef will choose someone to accompany them. So, Komatsu chose Toriko. Thus, the next round of the competition began. Komatsu and Toriko went together to find ingredients. Coco helped the poison cooking specialist, ranked 19, on another island. Tengu teamed up with Zebra, but, finding him too arrogant, so, they started fighting, while Sunny helped Yada. But the top chef, Zaus, relied on Zonga, because he was too strong. Suddenly, a giant squid appeared. With just a flick off, he immediately defeated the giant squid. While the other chefs had finished cooking their dishes, Tengu and Zebra were still fighting, accidentally killing the monsters on the island. So, Tengu quickly gathered the ingredients and ran off. Meanwhile, Komatsu discovered that clams were the main ingredient of the island. Thus, Toriko immediately dove into the sea to catch a giant clam as big as an island. When it was about to hit Toriko, he used the 10-hit nail punch, stopping it and defeating it. Finally, Komatsu completed his part of the competition, making the judges very satisfied. Now, the semifinals had arrived. Komatsu would have to compete with Zaus, making him worried. Suddenly, the four heavenly kings sensed danger. Toriko said, "They're here, outside." Director Mansam had prepared in advance. So, he arranged a herd of giraffebirds level 90 to wait for them. At this moment, the chefs had entered the finals. When Komatsu was worried, he met Ume, Komatsu's close friend. Ume told Komatsu that Otake had gone missing. At this moment, Toriko's group also arrived. So, Komatsu introduced his friend to them. Suddenly, two bodyguards came looking for him. Turns out, he was working for the president of a gourmet tourism company, on the side of the wealthy chairman. They also knew the battle was about to begin, while Komatsu was also getting ready for the final match. But, Toriko realized it was time for them to fight as well. Now, Komatsu would have to compete with Zaus, the world's top-ranked chef. Suddenly, a tent appeared in the arena. Both would have to cook in the darkness, relying only on their sense of smell and intuition. So, Komatsu entered the tent. Inside is very dark. Komatsu began to search for ingredients. Suddenly, his hand touched something. Toriko immediately sensed that something was wrong. Unexpectedly, the Bishokukai had arrived, along with many monsters preparing to attack the arena. Mansam had prepared in advance as well, and with the resurrected giraffebirds, they began to counterattack. He unleashed his power and transformed into a giant. On Komatsu's side, Starjon had captured him, making Toriko furious. He stepped into the arena, seeing many monsters surrounding the arena, causing everyone to panic. Komatsu was still held tightly by Starjon. So, Zebra immediately created a sound armor to protect him. Coco also transmitted poison onto his hand. But, he easily neutralized Coco's poison. Sunny also intervened, using his hair to restrain him. But, he unleashed a blue flame, burning the tent entirely. As he was about to catch Komatsu, finally, Toriko appeared. "I've been waiting for you, Toriko." So, both were ready to fight. When the flame was extinguished, Komatsu saw that Zaus had been defeated. Toriko then unleashed his gourmet cells, and used leg knife to attack him. But, he managed to dodge. Zebra immediately created a sound barrier to protect everyone. Toriko continued to strike him down with leg fork. While Coco was dealing with the monsters, he was sucked dry of his poison by Grinpatch, who said, "Your poison tastes delicious. Then, I'll keep feeding you." Sunny was protecting Komatsu. But, he was attacked by Tommy. Seeing how ugly he was, Sunny felt disgusted. So, he immediately turned his hair golden to fight him. Meanwhile, the other chefs also gathered, preparing to fight the Bishokukai chefs. At this moment, Starjon merely blinked, blowing away the dust and smoke around. Toriko rushed in to attack him. Starjon realized that Toriko's punch, it's like there are a lot of nails piercing into his body. Toriko explained that this was the nail punch. The further he pulled back, the stronger the punch became. He then knocked Toriko away, causing him great pain. Outside, Director Mansam was battling the GT Robos. But, he was slowly losing control, due to the suppressed power within his body. Meanwhile, Komatsu saw the other chefs fighting. That surprised Komatsu. He didn't expect them to be so strong. At this moment, Toriko unleashed his 50-hit nail punch, causing Starjon to continuously retreat and crash into the wall. Toriko followed up with the 100-hit twin nail punch, sending him flying out of the arena. Toriko continues to press forward, and landed another 50-hit nail punch on Starjon's face, sending him crashing into the mountain. Although Toriko's hand was exhausted, but, he made him show his face and be injured by Toriko's power. At this moment, Both Toriko and Starjon are very excited. They immediately release their gourmet cells. Two demons faced off against each other. Toriko rushed in to punch Starjon. So, he used his flames to attack Toriko. Unexpectedly, Toriko collapsed first. Mansam's side is very excited, because it's been a long time since he has had the chance to fight like this. It turns out, Mansam used to be a bandit, until he met Igo President Ichiryu, who could block his punch with just one finger. Since then, he followed Ichiryu and sealed his power away. The GT robots realize that knocking machine was just to unleash Mansam's power, so he continued to unleash his power, and kept defeating them. On the arena side, the other chefs were still fighting. Tengu was getting mad because there were so many of them. Suddenly, a centaur-like figure appeared. Thus, Tengu attacked him, sending him crashing into the wall. But, he surprisingly stood up. It turns out their goal was to kidnap all the chefs. Suddenly, 3 Nitros appeared. On Toriko's side, he was still fighting Starjon. Both were very excited. Toriko uses his fork to attack him. Seeing him not flinch, Toriko continued with twin cannon fork. He thought he had won. Unexpectedly, Starjon appeared behind him. Both simultaneously punched each other. Now, Starjon realized Toriko was much stronger than before. Tengu kept attacking Elg with lightning, but no matter how many times he fell, he stood up. Meanwhile, Komatsu was still watching everyone fight. Unexpectedly, a Nitro appeared. Even though its limbs were chained, Komatsu still felt its terrifying presence, because it was a legendary creature. This time Yuta also arrived, and told Komatsu to leave immediately, because he knew everyone was trying to fight to protect Komatsu. Turns out the Bishokukai had tamed 3 Nitros, to help capture other chefs. Yada immediately took out his weapon to attack him. Unexpectedly, just one Nitro strike knocked him out. They continued to attack other chefs. Even if he stands there letting Livebearer chop him as many times as he wants, he wasn't hurt at all, and he cut him in half. Luckily, these 2 Seiseias arrived in time, and used healing glue to mend his body. Now, they realized, it was the legendary creature in the gourmet world, and they couldn't understand how the Bishokukai had tamed these creatures. On Koka's side, he was feeding his poison to Grinpatch. Unexpectedly, he could be immune to his poison, and immediately blew Coco away. He got up immediately. I will fight you seriously. He continuously fired poisoned bullets to disorient him, and used a poisoned sword to attack Grinpatch. Unexpectedly, Coco was still knocked away by him. At this point, he says his straw is harder than diamonds. On Toriko's side, he was exhausted. His limbs were trembling, and Toriko was defeated by Starjon, while Grinpatch used his suction tube to pierce Coca's body, and consume him to his stomach. Unexpectedly, he appeared behind him. Turns out it was just a clone of Coco. Now, Toriko also got up. He said, "We've grown stronger after the battle with the 4 beasts," and immediately punched Starjon back. Now, Coco also unleashed his power, and fed him a giant poisoned bullet. Unexpectedly, he ate it all and shot back at him. At this point, he intended to eat Komatsu, who was nearby. Luckily, Yun arrived in time to save him. When he intended to approach and catch Komatsu again, Coco appeared and grabbed his hand, making him angry. He continued to attack him. Now, Coco told Komatsu to quickly go find Toriko. So, Komatsu immediately left, to stop him. But, he was still determined to catch Komatsu. Unexpectedly, Coco hugged him from behind, and they both jumped into the pit together, because only down there could he comfortably release all of his poison. As for Starjon, he decided to show Toriko his true power. On Sunny's side, he was still fighting with Tommy, so he released level 90 insects to attack him. Sunny said, "These insects are still nothing compared to the 4 beasts." With just one move, Sunny defeated them all. Unexpectedly, there was still a level 105 insect left. It kept cutting Sunny's hair, because when Sunny lost a strand of hair, it was like losing a tooth for him. At this point, Sunny remembered what Ichiryu had said. The greatest pain is the pain inside the heart. Seeing them harm others, Sunny immediately activates his gourmet cells and uses Satan hair. This time the monster can't cut his hair anymore. With just one strike, he catches the monster and absorbs it, leaving Tommy astonished. So, he decides to seriously fight Sunny. Unexpectedly, he easily cuts off one of his arms, and Sunny feels like he's losing control, because his gourmet cells are trying to take over his body. Sunny continues to attack him, but his eyes are like fly eyes. He can see the opponent's movements at super slow speed. At this point, Sunny's hair has returned to normal. He continues to attack Sunny. Unexpectedly,
His severed arm jumps to catch him, taking this opportunity. He continuously attacks Sunny, causing Sunny to lose consciousness. Now you can die. Unexpectedly, he can't pull his hand back. It turns out Sunny knew how to control his gourmet cells, making him start to tremble and unable to move. It turns out Sunny intentionally lured him closer from the beginning, but he still insists on killing Sunny, so Sunny attacks and absorbs him. In the end, he wins, but because of the severe injuries, Sunny is exhausted. On the Tengu side, he still can't defeat Elg. Unexpectedly, he starts to fight back. Even with Tengu using 1,000,000 volts of electricity, he is unharmed. It turns out Elg's body is immortal, as his lower body is fused with the Horse King, a legendary beast in the gourmet world. Tengu still can't believe he can't defeat him, so he attacks and causes him to disintegrate. Unexpectedly, he can duplicate himself, shocking Tengu. Thus, he gets kicked away by him. On the wealthy side, they formed another organization called Neo. They even forbid Ume from informing others.
Turns out Zeus is also a member of them. They even send spies to other organizations to incite war. On Tengu's side, no matter how many times he used electric attacks on Elg, he still doesn't get hurt and fights back. Elg thinks he's won. Unexpectedly, Tengu stands up again, releasing all his electric power. Turns out he stored electricity in his blood. Even if he resurrects, he'll be permanently electrocuted. So, he turns into an old man. Finally, Tengu wins. While Zebra is evacuating the civilians from the arena, other chefs are being successively defeated by the Nitro. They even imprison other chefs inside this giant monster. When they're in danger, Zebra finally takes action. While Setsuno is surrounded by monsters, but with just a blink, she destroys them. Suddenly, she meets her old friend again. While they're fighting each other, Zebra is facing these monsters alone. One Nitro starts to capture him, but Zebra manages to control him, so he yells loudly and defeats him. Two other Nitro are about to rush in, but Zebra also yells and blows them away. On Setsuno's side, she's still fighting Chio. Suddenly, she's ambushed by Zeus's group, but this made Setsuno angry. Now, she realizes Zeus has betrayed them, and the mastermind behind them is the dark chef named Joie. Suddenly, Zeus ambushes Chio again and seals her. Setsuno realizes they are deliberately exploiting the Igo and Bishokukai's battle to carry out their own scheme. Meanwhile, Komatsu is running to where Toriko is. Unexpectedly, he sees Toriko has been defeated. This shocked Komatsu, and remembering the days he traveled with Toriko, he always protected him. Suddenly, Starjon wants Komatsu to go with him. Inside Toriko at this moment, he's conversing with the demon inside his body, and he's made a deal with Toriko that he must feed him Acacia's full-course menu. When Komatsu is about to be captured, Toriko wakes up and knocks him away. Unexpectedly, Toriko's attack is very fast. This state is called the ultimate routine. It's a secret technique that I taught him, imagining the enemy lying on his plate. At this point, Toriko continues to knock down Starjon, but Starjon keeps getting back up. This time he understands Toriko's skill, so he manages to block his attacks. Starjon draws his sword, and he unleashed a blue flame. Unexpectedly, he can learn Toriko's ultimate routine. He even splits the ground in half. So, Toriko decides to fight him with all his might. Now, the strength of both is balanced. Toriko punches Starjon. Then, Starjon hits Toriko back, although they are very tired, because the ultimate routine has consumed all of Toriko's calories. But, he remains determined to charge forward. This time he manages to break Starjon's sword. So, Toriko continuously attacks. But, Starjon retaliates. Komatsu sees both of them going crazy. At this point, both of them are exhausted. So, they decide to use all their remaining strength to unleash their final blows. Suddenly, both of them stop, feeling that there's someone very powerful here, making them unable to move. Everyone in the arena has to stop fighting. The wealthy chairman realized that their leader had arrived. He and Teppei jump down into the middle of the arena. Everyone realizes Teppei is being controlled. Zebra tries to attack him, but he was intercepted by Teppei. He immediately used vines to restrain Zebra. Even the Nitro feel the danger, so they attack him, but he controls them and turns them into his side. Setsuno realizes the legendary knife he's wielding belongs to the chef goddess. Just one swing of it splits the entire city in half, making Setsuno collapse while trying to block it. Toriko and Starjon decide to stop fighting, as they recognize this person as very dangerous. He then orders the Nitro to attack them. Luckily, Knocking Master Jiro manages to appear in time. With just a flick of his hand, he immobilizes the Nitro. Realizing his grandson is being controlled by him, making him furious, he realized that he was one of Acacia's 3 legendary disciples, together with Ichiryu and Medora. At this point, Medora has released level 500 monsters to surround Ichiryu. But when he unleashes his gourmet cells, he draws them closer to him. Turns out his ability is gravitational attraction control. On the arena side, Jiro unleashes his power. Just by knocking on the ground, everyone is immobilized. They realize he has paralyzed not just the island, it's the whole earth. Yet, he can still move. Jiro immediately attacked him, forcing Joie to reveal his true face, shocking Jiro and Setsuno, as his face resembles that of the chef goddess, Acacia's wife. So, both of them decide to check who Joie really is. Unexpectedly, he changes his form, and easily blocks their attacks. At this point, they realize he's not the chef goddess, because Frost died a long time ago. He continues to attack them, but Setsuno is completely exhausted. So, Jiro steps forward to shield her, causing him to get injured. When he's about to finish them off, Toriko arrives in time to block his attack, and Starjon stands with Toriko. Toriko realized that he himself had sparked this battle, and his goal is to capture Komatsu. Suddenly, Teppei steps forward again, and he restrains Toriko and Starjon. So, Setsuno releases them. Jiro decides to teach his grandson a lesson, while Toriko and Starjon will confront Joie. But he only needs to unleash his gourmet cells, which makes their 2 demons disappear. Just one strike also pushes them back. Komatsu realizes that knife belongs to the chef goddess Frost. On Ichiryu and Medora's side, they're still reminiscing about the past. It turns out Medora had always suffered from hunger since childhood. When he collapsed, luckily Frost helped him, and she fed him, making Medora very happy. Suddenly, Ichiryu's group also returns. Why is there a kid here? And this is also the first time Medora meets Acacia. At this point, they see Medora as their family. In the following days, Acacia always trains all 3 of them. As time passes, everyone ages, until one day, Acacia returns and tells everyone that God is about to appear, and asks Frost, "Are you ready to cook God?" But, when Acacia and Frost return, she is severely injured. Medora wants to help her recover, so he searches for medicine for her, but when he returns, he gets injured again. So, Frost decides to use her last strength to heal Medora's wounds. In the end, she passes away. But, thanks to Frost successfully cooking God, the war ends and everyone has food. Since then, Medora has fallen into despair. Determined to find and eat God, Ichiryu continues to attack Medora. But, he loses an arm in the process. On Joie's side, he wants to capture Komatsu, to take him into the gourmet world with him, because Komatsu possesses food luck, and only he can find God. Luckily, Zebra still has strength and attacks him. Both Coco and Sunny also arrive. So, Toriko tries to stand up to protect Komatsu. Seeing the 4 heavenly kings gathered together, Starjon realized that the chefs of the Bishokukai had been defeated. So, they all unleashed a combined attack against him, creating a big explosion. But, he remains unfazed. Joie continues to swing his knife at them. Thus, Toriko immediately creates a fork shield to block it. Taking this opportunity, they launch a combined attack again. Unexpectedly, just one swing of his knife easily knocks them back, and defeats Toriko's group. On Jiro's side, he's still trying to awaken Teppei, although both he and Setsuno are exhausted, but they also manage to knock out Teppei. Seeing everyone being defeated, Komatsu worries. He says, "Come, accompany me, we'll go to a new world. I'll never go with you, because I'm Toriko's teammate, and I will definitely cook God for him." At this point, Joie says, "Acacia's full course menu and God will soon appear. The one who possesses God will rule this world." When Toriko's group heard that the taste of God was delicious, they feel hungry again and stand up to fight him. Even Starjon blocks him. Another eye grows on his forehead. Joie says, "You're awake now." So, he attacks Joie, but still gets knocked back by him. Toriko's group all release their gourmet cells, and they combine their hunger energy together, creating the Dinner of Kings technique that can devour everything. Starjon also senses immense power from it. Joie realizes this is the technique that defeated the 4 beasts. So, he releases his gourmet cells, and with just one knife strike, he disperses their energy, that caused Toriko's group to be defeated. At this moment, Ichiryu still wants to help Medora return. So, he restores his arm. Ichiryu unleashes his power, and uses the chopstick cannon technique to pierce Medora. But, he stands still and says, "You're old now, Ichiryu." With just one strike, he knocks Ichiryu away. Meanwhile, Joie is preparing to take Komatsu away. While while Toriko is unconscious, but he still senses Komatsu calling out to him. So, Toriko makes a pact with the demon, and grows a demon arm that pierces through Joie's chest, surprising everyone. As Toriko's hunger cells have awakened, it's ready to eat everything. But, Joie is pleased because Toriko is losing control. He will devour his own teammates. Thus, Toriko transforms into a true demon. Midora is about to defeat Ichiryu, but he just says, "I want to sit and eat with you one more time," making Midora remember his past. While everyone worries about how to stop Toriko, Komatsu shouts, "Did you forget our promise to complete the full-course menu together?" Surprisingly, those words help Toriko regain consciousness. Now, he has completely transformed with Gourmet cells awakening. Joie attacks Toriko, but with just one punch, Toriko sends him flying. At this point, Joie's attacks cannot harm Toriko. Making him angry, he unleashes his Gourmet cells, turning into a true demon himself. Joie rushes in to attack Toriko, but he manages to block it. Everyone realizes that each of Toriko's punches contains the power of ingredients he has eaten, even the power of the four beasts, but Joie stubbornly refuses to give up. So, he unleashes his ultimate move. Toriko clasps his hands together, thanking all the ingredients in the world, and he has assimilated all the ingredients into his body. Toriko delivers a powerful punch to Joie, sending him flying into the sky and dissipating. Finally, Toriko emerges victorious. Meanwhile, Midora still can't bring himself to strike his brother, so he deliberately missed. "You'll come back, I know. Let's leave the future to the younger generation." At this moment, Starjon decides to leave as well, and they agree to meet again in the Gourmet world. While the group is at the hospital worrying about Mansam, Midora hands Ichiryu over to Toriko. As he prepares to leave, everyone says, "Let's have a meal together one more time." Komatsu has just finished making ocean soup, so they all sit down at the table. He just tasted a piece. It reminded Midora of the time he was together with everyone. By evening, he departs to prepare for entering the Gourmet world to take revenge on Neo, and praises Komatsu. "Your soup is delicious." At this point, the final city is safe, but Joie is still alive. Determined to find God, Midora and Starjon are also ready to enter the Gourmet world. On the side of Toriko and Komatsu, they have also finished preparing, and they are getting ready to enter the Gourmet world. But Toriko realizes, Joie is still alive, and he is waiting for them in the Gourmet world. So, Toriko is determined to obtain God, while Joie and the Neo organization are preparing to seize God, to create a new world. Komatsu wonders where Sunny and the others are. Toriko says they have already advanced to the Gourmet world earlier, which makes them very excited. So, Toriko immediately takes Komatsu's hand and jumps into the Gourmet world. At this point, they have entered the forest. Toriko believes that Komatsu's food luck will help them find God. Suddenly, the tiger and monkey that appeared before reappear, making Komatsu very scared. But this time, when they look into Toriko's eyes, they obediently move out of his way. At this moment, Toriko and Komatsu are very excited to continue their adventure in the Gourmet world. That's it for today's video. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel to support Oni-chan in the upcoming videos. Thank you for watching. Love you all.